Okay, if you have come so far, I congratulate you. You have learned a lot of the basics, and we have a few more steps to finish the foundation part. So let's traverse the remaining part of the road. The types of datasets. So we talked about types of variables. What about types of datasets? Well, we have two main types of datasets: cross-sectional and time series. So in the scope of our module, we have two main datasets: cross-sectional and time series. Let's go and define them. But before definition of these two categories, let's think about how we have separated datasets into these two groups. This separation, this categorization is based on the criterion of time. Whether a dataset is about evolution of the cases over time. So evolution over time means some sort of dynamism. Or no, it's just a snapshot. One point of time. If the dataset is about evolution or dynamic of the case or one case or cases, how their properties change over time, then we have a time series. For instance, let's assume that every day in the midday, I went out in December and starting January, early January, and I recorded the temperature in Birmingham. Okay, so the case is Birmingham. And what I'm doing, I'm recording the evolution of or the dynamism of temperature, in this case, in Birmingham. And this is called a time series. Okay, and it has one variable, temperature, and therefore it's a univariate time series. We can have a multivariate time series if not only I measure temperature but humidity. So time series, univariate, multivariate. What if I not only measure the temperature and humidity of Birmingham, but another city, let's say Ashford. Okay, let's say that this is Ashford in Kent, southeast, and this is Birmingham. And I have a friend in Ashford, and she records the temperature and humidity at the same time that I do here in Birmingham. In this case, when we have more than one, in this situation, when we have more than one case, we actually following more than one case over time. We call it panel dataset. Okay? So a panel dataset is about following several cases over time. But what about cross-sectional? Cross-sectional is a snapshot of cases. So for CDA, temperature 7, humidity 90, whatever unit it is. And that's all. Let's assume that we have captured all these at 12th of December 2021. Okay? One snapshot of England, different cities, their temperatures and their humidity. It is possible that we record things on different point of times, but in a meaningful way. An example, let's assume that you are working in a bank, and when a customer joins, you record some information of that customer. Let's say demographic variables and more. Okay, so the customer A is joined in 1st of January. The Second customer joined 3rd of January. The third customer joined 10th of January. Okay? Still, this is a cross-sectional data. Even though the time that we have recorded these demographic variables are different, they are meaningful and they are related because this is the first point that this customer has crossed our branch, as registered in our branch. So we could not get their data all on the 1st of January. They had not registered yet at that time. Okay? But it's important that this is their data on the first day, on the first hour of joining our bank. And this is something that is like a thread that connects all these customers together in our dataset. So once again, before talking about level of dataset, we said that datasets are either time series or cross-sectional. Cross-sectional is a snapshot. Time series is about evolution, is about following something, following variables over time. Time series can be univariate, can be multivariate, and can be panel. So panel is when we have more than one case. We have several cases. These are the definitions that I give to you in our module. There are more categories of data sets. It's enough for us in this module, especially because in this module, the good news is we only work with the cross-sectional data. We do not work in time series data. And why we only work with cross-sectional? Probably because this convention has been around because they are easier to deal with. So when we want to learn a new thing, we start with easy examples and then we add complexity to it. And this is why we start with cross-sectional. So we have learned the types of variables and types of data sets. Now it's time to talk about level of a data set. See you in the next part of the lecture.